back to the channel. Today we're going to unravel some incredibly complex events in Genoa. Rumors are circulating around the Newman family, but what's the truth? In this video, I'll summarize the plot points that will be revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned to see what happens. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel for another exciting deep dive. It is a beautifully dramatic day to be a soap fan, and we are absolutely buzzing with all the latest developments. Grab your favorite snack, settle into your comfiest chair, and let's unpack the absolute madness that is currently unfolding on our screens. We cannot believe they actually did it. I mean, seriously, my jaw is still on the floor and I am literally shaking just thinking about it. They actually had Patty Williams brutally stab Jack Abbott. We are typing this up late at night, running on pure adrenaline and caffeine because we just kind of need to get this out of our system. How on earth did we get here? Jack is currently fighting for his life, bleeding out on his own dining room floor, and Patty is wandering around talking about being together in the afterlife. It is pure, unadulterated nightmare fuel. And honestly, we are so here for the drama, but we are absolutely terrified for Jack. This is the beloved patriarch of the Abbott family we are talking about, and seeing him brought down like this is just mind-blowing. React first, explain later, right? Because the image of Kyle and Diane walking into that mansion is burned into my brain forever. Just imagine the sheer horror of that moment. Diane has literally just escaped from that absolute creep doctor, Lawrence Markham. She and Kyle finally make it back to the Abbott mansion, thinking the nightmare is over and they are finally safe. They call out for Jack. Silence. And then the terrifying sound of breaking glass. Jack fighting for every single breath, pulling on that tablecloth just to shatter something so they would find him. Kyle and Diane rushing in to find him covered in blood. Diane dropping to her knees, getting completely soaked in Jack's blood while desperately trying to stop the bleeding. It was visceral. It was horrifying. It was some of the best, most heart-wrenching television we have seen all year. Before I even get into the fallout, we have to talk about what Diane just survived. She was locked up in a literal fortress by Dr. Markham. The psychological torture she endured while Markham tried to brainwash her into thinking Jack abandoned her, absolutely sickening. And Diane played it so brilliantly. She flirted with him, she flattered his massive ego, she manipulated him into getting those sedatives, and she drugged his food. Diane Jenkins is a total survivor. But surviving Markham only to walk into her own home and find the love of her life bleeding out, the universe is just relentlessly cruel to this woman right now. And now Kyle, who had to sneak past Dobermans and break into a fortress to save his mother, has to watch his father flatline. The trauma this family is enduring is completely off the charts. But let's talk about the absolute sheer audacity of Patty Williams. Because this woman is not just unhinged, she is a calculating, manipulative menace. What does she do after plunging a knife into the man she claims to love? She runs upstairs, intentionally slices her own arm open, and stages a crime scene. She frames Diane. I am sorry, but the level of psychotic genius here is staggering. Patty whips out fake diaries, fake audio recordings, and points the finger directly at Diane. And because Diane is literally covered in Jack's blood from trying to save him, Detective Burrow is looking at her like she is public enemy number one. Am I the only one who want to throw my remote at the TV when Dr. Markham backed up Patty's lies? We have been watching since 2015, and this is honestly the most twisted thing they have done with Patty. Remember when Victor Newman used Patty to drug Jack and trap him on that yacht? Yeah, didn't work out so well for anyone's sanity back then either. And that is exactly why Victor's hands are dripping with Jack's blood right now. Victor funded Patty. Victor brought her back to town. Victor put her in the position to strike. And now Victor is forcing Nikki to move back to the Newman ranch after her life-threatening tumor surgery just so he can hide the truth from her. Because he knows that the second Nikki finds out that his petty, vindictive games got her best friend stabbed, she is going to leave him forever. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. The airport scene. Can we take a moment to appreciate the kind of poetic justice of Paul Williams being the one to orchestrate his own sister's arrest? Patty and that coward Markham packed their suitcases, thinking they had outsmarted the entire Genoa City Police Department. They are standing at the security checkpoint, probably dreaming of some tropical non-extradition country, and bam! An officer recognizes Patty from the emergency APB. The cops swarm them, and Paul, the look of absolute heartbreak and firm resolve on Paul's face as he confronts his sister. Pure cinema. But even with Patty in handcuffs, the damage is already done. So Jack is in critical condition at Genoa City Memorial. The family is in shambles. Diane is fighting a massive frame-up, and Kyle is spiraling into a dark, vengeful rage. Who is going to fix this? Enter the Queen herself. Ashley Abbott is coming home. Yes, people, Eileen Davidson is returning to our screens on Friday, July 10, and I could not be more thrilled because Ashley is exactly the wild card this rotten storyline desperately needs. When Ashley finds out what happened to her brother, she is not just going to cry by his hospital bed. She is going to burn the city to the ground to find out exactly how this happened and who is responsible. Ashley has never, ever let anyone get away with hurting Jack. Never. She is fiercely protective of her older brother, and her return is like throwing a lit match into a powder keg. I mean, think about it. How did Patty maintain her delusional scheme for so long right under everyone's noses? Because no one in that mansion was paying close enough attention. Tracy tried to sound the alarm when she saw Patty with Markham at the Park Cafe, but Jack brushed it off. Kyle was too distracted trying to find Diane. But Ashley? Ashley would have sniffed out Patty's crazy from a mile away. I know some people are loving this Patty chaos, but personally, I need someone to hold these villains accountable, and Ashley is the only one who can do it. Reading between the lines of these upcoming spoilers, Ashley is going to start turning over every single rock. She is going to look at Detective Burrow and demand to know why Diane is being treated like a suspect when Patty is a known psychopath with a history of violence. She is going to rip into Dr. Markham's fake psychiatric credentials. And most importantly, she is going to trace the money and the manipulation directly back to Victor Newman. Maybe Ashley will be too overwhelmed by Jack's health crisis to go to war right away? No, wait, who am I kidding? This is Ashley Abbott. Grief only makes her angrier. She is going to channel every ounce of her fear into pure, unadulterated vengeance. Kyle is currently vowing to make Patty pay at any cost, even considering allying with old enemies. Ashley is going to have to step in, slap some sense into her nephew, and take the reins of this family war. Kyle is acting recklessly, but Ashley moves with calculated precision. She will be the matriarch they desperately need right now. We also cannot forget Tracy in all of this. Sweet, wonderful Tracy, who has been the emotional glue of this family for decades. Tracy has been through hell recently with that psychopath Martin Laron pretending to be Alan. She knows what it is like to be manipulated by a monster. Tracy knew Patty was up to no good. She saw Patty paying off Markham. She tried to warn Jack, but he was too deep into his own guy's dangerous game of trying to outsmart Patty. Now Tracy is going to have to watch her brother fight for his life, and I know she is going to blame herself for not pushing harder. When Ashley gets off that plane, the first thing she needs to do is hug Tracy and tell her this is not her fault. The Abbott sisters are going to have to unite like never before. I am already mentally preparing myself for the hospital scenes. The beeping monitors, the doctors rushing in and out, the grim faces. Jack Abbott has survived so much in his life, but a direct stab wound from a deranged Patty Williams? This is touch and go. I can already picture Ashley standing outside the ICU, glaring through the glass, making a silent vow to destroy whoever allowed this to happen. She will demand the best surgeons in the country. She will probably threaten the hospital administrator just to make sure Jack gets VIP treatment. That is the Ashley Abbott we know and love. She doesn't take no for an answer, especially when it comes to her brother's life. And let's talk about the dynamic between Ashley and Diane. We all know they despise each other. Their history is filled with slapfests, corporate sabotage, and bitter hatred. But right now, Diane is the woman who tried to save Jack's life on that dining room floor. Diane is the one being framed by the same woman who stabbed their beloved Jack. Will Ashley actually team up with Diane to clear her name? Or will Ashley's inherent distrust of Diane make her question if Diane actually had a hand in it? I honestly don't know. And that is what makes this so incredibly compelling. I am figuring out my thoughts as I type, but I genuinely think Ashley might have to swallow her pride and work with Diane to destroy Patty and Victor. Let's circle back to Victor Newman for a second, because my blood pressure spikes every time I think about him. Victor loves to preach about protecting family, but he literally unleashed a known mentally unstable criminal onto his rival's family. He gave Patty the money, the wardrobe, the VIP suite at the GCAC. He gave her the means to destroy Jack. And now that it ended in a near-fatal stabbing, Victor is just going to sweep it under the rug? He is rushing Nikki back to the ranch so she won't hear the gossip at the athletic club. He knows Nikki will connect the dots. Nikki knows Victor brought Patty to town. When Nikki finds out Jack is on life support, she is going to realize her husband is basically an accessory to attempted murder. And Ashley? Ashley is going to be the one to march over to the ranch and tell Nikki exactly what her husband did. I cannot wait for that scene. Eileen Davidson brings such a commanding presence to Genoa City. When she walks into a room, the entire energy shifts. The writers didn't just bring her back for a quick cameo to hold Jack's hand. They brought her back